Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's the first Christmassy set of this year. I am super duper excited. I've also changed up my intro, so let me know in the comments what you think of it. I love it, I really like it, and it just screams Christmas, and I love the snowflakes and just everything that I imagined for my Christmassy kind of intro is exactly that. So I'm super happy about it. I'm sure I'll be changing it up every year just to kind of add a bit of like a variety every year. But this year it's going to be this pinky purpley little kind of backdrop of snow and then my logo on top of it. So without further ado, we've got a gorgeous Christmassy set. It's one of those where when I did it, I was so happy with it. I'm not sure if the video would do it justice, if the actual thumbnail and a picture at the end would do it justice, but if you do end up recreating it, you will not regret it. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. I would literally be rocking this now design for Christmas for sure. So starting off, we've got 3 colours in today's design. We've got one full white nail, we've got 2 red nails, which is from Semilac shade number 317 called Neon Red, and also we've got some nude from Vanillisa, which we're going to have 2 nails of those. So for the white nail, it's only white because we're going to do some ombre. So I like to have a white background for that, which we're going to tackle now. So I'm going to get my sponge, I'm going to apply the nude and the red, which I already done. I'm going to keep the nude at the top and then the red at the bottom. And I'm going to just kind of dab away. I am going to be going slightly up and then slightly to the bottom just to kind of help mix the colours in the middle. And then once I'm happy, I'll sprinkle on some of that acrylic and I'll repeat this process a few times until I'm happy. So sometimes, especially recently, I've been deciding not to sprinkle on acrylic kind of in between each layer of gel. So right now will be one of the only times I'm actually sprinkling acrylic, and then I pop into the lamp and I do an extra few layers without sprinkling on acrylic. So it's kind of one of those things where you just gotta figure it out for yourself, really. I came across someone on Instagram actually use acrylic, and at the time I was really struggling with my ombres. I could not get them right, and I'd given it a go and it works like a little charm. So but in the video, she didn't actually show whether she sprinkles on acrylic in between each layer. So initially I started doing acrylic, now sometimes I don't. It will just depend probably on the gel polishes that you use, the consistency of them, etc, etc. So now that I've kind of got 2 layers applied in the background, we've got a few layers applied of our ombre now, so it's looking gorgeous. And I've decided to place my crystals on now. If you know me, I sometimes like to be a bit lazy and do the crystals after applying the matte top coat, which is not ideal if you're recreating this on a client. You do not want to do that. So today I actually did it a proper way. Big pat on the back for me. So I'm going to kind of do almost like a necklacey vibe. I've got this kind of like a like a crystally shaped AB crystal in the center, and then I'm going to do the little almost like a necklace vibe going on the sides, starting off with the bigger crystal, going all the way to the smallest crystal, and then following down from that diamondy crystal, I'm going to pop a few circular AB. I've got this, I'm not sure what that kind of crystal is called, some sort of elongated circular crystal, and just place it down, and then I am going to go ahead and cure it, and after curing I will go ahead and add some caviar beads, but I decided to just chop that bit out, but I'll show you guys in just a second where I've placed it. So there we are, I've only kind of placed caviar beads in between, I think, the top necklace vibe and then kind of surrounding that longish AB crystal that we've got lower down in that crystal placement. So now that that's cured, all good to go, we've got a stamping nail. This is my clear jelly stamper plate that I got last year straight after Christmas. I had to wait a whole year for it to be used. I'm going to use some of my white Born Pretty polish, stamping polish, and I'm also using my clear jelly stamper. So I'm just going to place it on this little side there. I really liked it because it's almost like a cluster of snowflakes in one area, which is kind of what I was going for. You could just recreate this kind of one if you have a bunch of snowflakes. This one, I think I didn't pick it up properly. I think I end up getting rid of it, yeah. So I use a lint roller to get rid of anything on my stamper that I don't want. Never ever wipe your stamper with acetone. I've done it and I wrecked my stamper, so never do it, especially when you get those expensive ones and then you end up wrecking it. Oh, it's the worst. So that's literally what I did with my clear jelly stamper earlier. So Now I've learnt my lesson and I'm never going to do that. But yeah, like I was saying with the actual nail design, I like that bit there in particular because it's just like a cluster of snowflakes. But if you do have just a normal snowflake plate, you can just basically create your own. Just pick up a few snowflakes and place it very close to each other, creating like a little bit of a cluster on your nail. So you don't have to have this specific plate. You can literally recreate it with any plate you wish, as long as you have the snowflakes, of course. So I'm going to cover this nail. So I'm going to have to restamp again because, of course, it didn't cover the full nail, which often happens, especially when I use the long stiletto nails. It happens all the time, all the time, all the time. So I'm going to just pick up a little chunk there with my little stamper, place it down so that nail will be good to go. And I like to leave it usually kind of just to dry, especially when you're using a matte top coat. I like to leave it to dry for quite some time just to make sure it doesn't smudge later on or anything like that. So I'm going to stamp it. There we are, and that's how I like it. That's how I'm gonna leave it. I quite like that it's a cluster too, just because I can be quite picky and I'll probably end up overdoing it. And this way, if I just pick up one image of like a cluster snowflake idea, then I don't have to worry about placing them too close or too far and all that kind of stuff. So here I'm using my Miley Nail Prep Wipe Cleaner liquid, and see, I'm wiping away the red nail, and that's because often I find with gel polishes that are a bit more thicker and way, like not way too, but super pigmented, they leave almost like this pigmented little residue. And since we're going to be doing a floral nail on this one, a 3D flower, I always get rid of it. Even if it's a light nail, I just wipe it just in case, because I just find that later on when I try to use a silicone tool and kind of press down my flowers, the pigment starts to mix up with the actual flower, like the product, and from wanting just a plain white flower, it ends up being a bit of a colourful mixture of white and red. So that's not what I want. So always make sure you wipe it down. I don't know whether it's what exactly is the cause, whether it's the company itself. I definitely cured it properly because otherwise the gel polish itself would have came off. So I'm not too sure exactly why it happens, but I have found that there's been times where I went ahead to kind of press down, create the flower petals, and then the pigment started to mix up with my petals and it would just become a big mess and just not what I wanted. So here I've placed some crystals on the sides. That's going to be the center of our flower. Here's my 4D carving gel, here's my silicone tool, and I've placed some of that Miley liquid into my little cap there. So I like to use that to basically avoid the silicone tool sticking to the product. So when I first started, I didn't use it. I kind of figured it out myself, and it was super sticky, and I was just like, how can people use this? There's no way this works. Until I thought I'll pop my brush into some nail prep kind of liquid and see what happens, and it works just like a charm. There's no sticking. You do have to obviously dip a few times, but that's absolutely fine. As you saw, I've got a big old bottle, so that lasts me a long time. So what I'm doing, I'm going to place 3 of the same size balls, kind of more in the center on the right hand side, and then we're going to chuck 2 bigger balls, one at the top and one at the bottom, and that's where I'm going to try to kind of make one of those longer elongated petals, if that makes sense. Usually the ones that people would make with acrylic. And yeah, so I'm going to place the balls and there, and then another one at the bottom. You'll also probably notice that when you do wipe away the tacky layer, it does slightly become harder to place down the balls, just because there's just no more tacky layer left, so it's a bit harder to place the balls. As you can see here, it's just not sticking. But it's just a bit more fiddly, but it definitely will save you a lot of anger and hassle when you start seeing your petals just mixing up with the background colour. Is just the worst. So here I'm just pressing at an angle. Those petals, the 3 on the right hand side, are literally the easiest to do. They're super easy. I pretty much got a hang of them quite quickly. I feel like after a few little tries you get a hang of it quick, but these, the 2 long ones, are hard. Super hard. I still can't get it to this day. I can never get them identical. I can never get them like identically what I've got imagined in my head or at least as similar as maybe the ones people make with acrylics. They seem to make it look so easy with acrylic. With this stuff and just using a silicone tool, it's not ideal. So I did end up going off camera. I cutted it out a little bit because I just could not do it. I was fiddling off camera a little bit with it, but this is what it's looking like. So now it's time for a matte top coat. Unfortunately with this bit, I ended up getting a bit cut because I've always recorded my phone and someone called me and it cut it, but luckily it's just a top coat, so it's no big deal. We don't miss out on anything important there. So I'm trying to avoid the flower as much as possible. with my matte top coat. And same with this nail, I do not want to apply any of that matte top coat on the crystals. I want to basically help them stay as sparkly as possible, so for as long as possible. So I'm just going to try and avoid them yeah, as much as I can. If you wanted to be super particular, you could use a nail art brush and kind of pick the top coat up with the nail art brush and go around those crystals when you're just very, very worried about getting the matte top coat on them. But that's just entirely up to you and your different processes that you do. Obviously for me, I'm just doing it for the video, so it's no big deal even if I do end up getting some of the matte top coat onto the nail. So we're going to apply matte top coat on the rest of those. The two nails that we've got left are going to be identical, so I will be showing you guys just me doing the one, and then the other one will just magically appear on the screen when I am done. We will later also apply some charms on that one, which I ended up not actually doing in the video, but I'll get to that moment in a second. I'm just adding some bows. I think it was some bows that I ended up adding on those. So I'm just going to finish up the matte top coat. Here we are, all matted. I love the three already there. So now it's time for the nude, and we are also going to add some additional nail art to the flower nail, but that'll be later on. So I've got some of my Glitter Bells Unbelievable Gel. You will probably know I rave about these. I love them. They're literally great. The white and black are my most used colours. I do have other colours. I should probably look at using them a bit more. But yeah, white and black, of course, are always going to be the easiest to use and basically match anything you're doing. So here I'm kind of picking a random spot on the nail. You can put this line as high as you want or as low as you want. This is the area I picked. I'm going to repeat this exact same process like I said on the other nail, and then I'm going to cure it for 60 seconds, and then using some of that red from Semilac, we're going to do a sweater look. So I did kind of start off camera. When it comes to getting the line straight, it's really rare that you'll find me doing that on camera. It's just so hard for me. It's just, you can even see this day in particular, my hands are shaking, super shaking. Sometimes I like to drink, I don't know if you guys drink G Fuels. They're so great. If you haven't tried them, they're amazing. I love them so much. And they're basically kind of aimed at gamers, but they're kind of like energy drinks, but they're yummy. And sometimes when I'm having a low day, I do pick one of them up and I literally get so much work done. But sometimes I get shaky hands from them. And today was one of those days. So I apologize. But luckily it didn't ruin the nail design too much. I managed to get the lines as straight as I possibly could have. So I'm just doing those zigzaggy lines in the center, and then I'm going to do some lines on both of those sides. And like I said, we will repeat the same process on the other nail. But before you pop this nail into the lamp, of course, if you end up curing it now, it's going to have a tacky layer, and that's not what you want. But I wanted like a proper sweater look, so I will sprinkle on some clear acrylic, which is also from Glitter Bells. And then I'll pop it into the lamp for that final cure, and we'll repeat it on the other nail as well. Here we are, time for the acrylic. And I'm not sure, oh yeah, we will. We've got some additional nail art to do, but this is the bit where well, once you finish the sweater nail look on those two nails, you want to place a bow right in the center where that white line is. So I'm going to do that off camera, so you see that at the end of the video where I've placed that. There we go. And now it's time for our flower nails. So this one I was like, right, this is still too bare. You know me, I like things to be a little bit too extra. So I thought I'll pick up some of that Unbelievable Gel and then do some stars and some dots around the flower. So I really love how this one ended up coming out. I really like it. I did end up placing some of that gel on the side, so I think I do go ahead and wipe it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So the two dots that I've just placed down now there, those will be our kind of stars, and then around those stars I'm going to place some dots. So the great thing with Unbelievable Gels, they cure tack free, which I love working with on a matte background. I just love the effect it creates when you've got the matte background. You place some glossy nail on top, and I just love the contrast it creates and the way it looks, and just, I will be definitely picking that up so often this Christmas. It's just, yeah, I've just got so many ideas. I already got so many designs ready to go. I'm so excited for you guys to see them. I'm so excited. Christmas is literally my time. If I could, I would already put my Christmas tree up. That's how in love I am with Christmas. So yeah, so I've got the dots. I'm gonna place the 4 lines which are going to be the longest, and then in between those 4 lines I'm going to place additional lines which are slightly smaller. Then I do go ahead and cure them, and now it's time for the dots. So yeah, just randomly scatter the dots. If you want to, you could have actually left the nail as it is, because it does just add that extra extraness to the set, so you might not be looking for that. But I love when there's just a lot going on. So I'm just going to finish up those dots. I will pop them into the lamp for 60 seconds. Always 60 seconds with Glitterbell's Unbelievable Gels. And then once that gets cured, I'll pop it onto my little stick. And then I'll show you guys the final result in 3, 2, 1, and here they are. So if you guys liked it, I freaking love this set. I literally cannot wait for you guys to see the rest of my sets that I've created so far. I love them. I love them. I love them. So do stick around. And oh yeah, also I'll probably upload 2 videos today. There'll be another one later on, and then it's about the giveaway. So I'll show you guys everything that I'm popping in the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.